Let's admit it, none of us actually thought that Loki was dead after the events of Avengers: Infinity War. Loki always has his way of cheating death. In the events of Avengers Endgame, the Avengers travel back to 2012 to get the Mind, Time, and Space Stone. However, the Avengers were not able to get the Tesseract in 2012 because Loki used it before they grabbed it and teleported away. However, after escaping to safety, the TVA, Time Variance Authority, show up and they take Loki into custody for interfering with the events of the sacred timeline. Loki almost gets pruned. At the time he thinks that this means being executed, but I will save that surprise for the viewer. But before that happens, a man by the name of Mobius shows up and requests that he keeps Loki for just a while longer. Mobius wants Loki to help him track a dangerous variant of Loki that has been killing Mobius's men. Loki agrees to help, but he actually has his own agenda. Along the journey, Loki learns that the universe is much bigger than he could ever imagine as he discovers the multiverse. Ripe apples. In the beginning of the series, Loki is the same Loki we see in the Avengers, 2012. He wants to rule the world and all that. However, as the series progresses, Loki starts to become a hero, as he begins to care more about other people. He doesn't want the end of time to come, so he does his best to fight to save the timeline after realizing isn't about him. Sylvie, the dangerous Loki variant, is an interesting character that wants to help Loki, but she is torn because of her past. Loki has an effect on her, but unfortunately it is not enough. A great character in this film is Mobius. Mobius tries to do his job to the best of his abilities. He also sees more in Loki than just a trickster and is a good friend and mentor to Loki in the series. When Mobius learns the truth of the TVA, he does not hesitate what needs to be done, even if he gets pruned in the process. He is one of the best characters in this series. Rotten apples. The violence in this film is mostly science fiction. We see a lot of people get pruned, which basically they get touched with by a stick and they are melted away. It's not too violent, but it is done a lot. We also see a few sword fights and some fist fights. Loki and Sylvie used their magic to enchant people and to battle mythical beasts that may look menacing to some people. One beast eats a lot of people and we see some of it on screen, though this beast attacks like a fog coming upon people. We see one character die, but he is just disintegrated. We also see one person's hand bitten off by an alligator and we see the hand with some blood but not much. One person is stabbed. There is not a lot of sexual content in this series. Loki and Sylvie develop a romantic relationship. Some characters say that Loki fell for himself. We see them kiss in one scene. There also is a scene where we hear that Loki is stuck in a loop with Sif and he gets kicked in his midsection multiple times in a loop. There are a few scenes where people are drinking alcohol. Loki is seen drunk in one scene. The language in this series is about what we would expect of a Marvel movie. DM-HLL and BSTRD are used the most, 2 or 3 and episode. We hear the Lord's name misused a few times, 6 between 10 for the entire series. We also hear a few other words like B- and SH, a few times. No F words are in this series. Additional thoughts. You thought you liked Loki as a villain, you'll like him even better as hero. Loki is a great character with a lot of development and we see a lot of change in just 6 episodes. He is one of the best original characters. The plot of this story is well thought out and it is awesome to see the beginning of the multiverse and begin to imagine the possibilities of what will happen in the future of the MCU. Mobius is also a great addition to the MCU. Owen Wilson captures the Mobius character perfectly. I'm hoping we see more of Kong the Conqueror in the future and I am excited to see where the multiverse will lead. Conclusion. In the end, Loki is a great show to watch. It has lots of action, drama, thrill, and adventure. I highly recommend it to anyone who is following the MCU and are preparing for future Marvel movies. I have a feeling that Loki is going to be an important part of the multiverse as he has already been teased in a Loki season 2. The only thing to be cautious of in this series is the language, but it is not enough to worry about. I hope you consider watching this series. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Please rate